Hello. um, Thank you for joining me again on my channel. I would like to take this moment in this video to talk about offerings to deities. I have talked a lot about giving offerings to the deities that I work with, and I would like to go more in depth on those. I feel like there needs to be more clarification upon exactly what kind of offerings you're giving and what the best types of offerings are. So I would like to start that by saying that I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm a little short-winded and sniffly and stuff. We're dealing with the old gods and goddesses, and these days they aren't as popular as the new gods. They aren't worshipped as much in like consensus as the main gods of the main religions of these days. I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of people that do worship and work with these deities, but they just aren't as abundant as the pre-Christian days and so forth. I can't really say much for like the Hindu religions. They seem to do a good job of keeping the old gods in their faith today. And same with a lot of the Asian cultures. But for the most part, you know what I'm talking about. Christianity has really swept the globe along with Islam and just really those two. Like Christianity is a big part, and according to the Bible, it doesn't really make it easy to give faith to the old gods with as much like a center of safety as it does to just worship the God in Christ. Like there's punishments for worshiping anything other than Christ. So it's just not as common. It's like a faux pas these days to have any other type of deities in your life, but that does not mean that they are dead. They're still around. They're an energy, a spirit, a source of vitality that doesn't die. And just because they aren't popular these days as they were in the past does not mean they don't exist. So when we work with these deities and when we give them offerings and befriend them or whatever, we are including them in our lives just like the new gods, and they should be treated as such. They aren't just because they aren't as popular doesn't mean they're to be trifled with. You know, they're gods and they're goddesses. They're deities. They were the center of worship and affection for a long period of time before they were dethroned, and so they should be treated as such. In my videos, I have said that, you know, I treat them as friends, and I do. I think that if you are working with any deity, that you should treat that deity like you would treat your friend. You know, you don't like a real friend, not one of these frivolous relationships where you say, "Oh, you're my friend," and then like 6 months later, "Oh, you're not my friend anymore because you said something that I don't agree with." You know, that's not friendship. That's acquaintance. And you definitely don't want to treat these deities like an acquaintance. You don't want to come into their life and just leave their life, because they are ancient and powerful. Simple as that. So when, like, friendship to me means life. It's a relationship. It's a bond that I hold dear until, like, something just absolutely horrible has gone wrong to break that bond. But unlike a human friendship that can be broken and forgotten, maybe not forgotten, because I mean, even if you lose a friend, you think about them a lot. You know, it's a bond that's hard to lose. It's hard to break fully. I mean, you can say that you broke it, and then years later down the road, you can forgive them and try to rekindle that friendship. And sometimes it goes back to just the way it was before everything went downhill. And, you know, sometimes it never gets repaired. But when you're working with deities, you are creating a bond with a spirit that has been around for a long time. And they have a position where they can pull strings that you cannot see. They can do things that you couldn't imagine, and they need to be respected. So, on the lines of offerings, you can give them gifts. Okay, so gifting a deity a liquor, like a shot of booze, you know, that deity can't really enjoy that. You know, they're not sitting with you, drinking with you, you know, experiencing that with you. Giving gifts as offerings is more of a moment of sacrifice, and like, it's the thought that counts type thing, you know. They're not in a position to collect material things. They've got more on their plates than collecting material things. They're working behind the scenes to accomplish things, great things, in this great play that we call humanity. So having a shot of booze, you know, really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's a gesture of kindness, and they will recognize that. it's a monetary sacrifice that you are giving up to them, and they will recognize that. It's a moment where, just like a friend, you know, like giving your friend a gift, you know, it's a show of affection or love, and they recognize that. But they aren't able to keep these things. You know, like they can keep the thought, and they can keep the emotion and the energy that you put into these offerings. They can keep that in their mind, that you have done these things, and that you are putting forth effort, and that is good. That is very good. It's better than nothing, for sure. So small offerings like that are definitely worthwhile. However, being part of a pantheon of old gods and goddesses that aren't very popular in worship anymore, you know, the best thing that they need is you. They need they need they need the best of you that you can give of you. For the most part, you know, a lot of deities that people choose to work with are good, and so having a strong-willed human worshiper, follower, friend is really the best gift that you can give them. Seeing as they don't have a physical body, then the best thing that you can give them is a human vessel for them to work through and to accomplish things through. And the best human vessel that you can provide for them is yourself. And yourself in a condition that is emotionally stable and hardworking, goal-oriented, you know, and just capable, absolutely capable. They need your help as much as you need theirs, and so giving them that bridge to cross with your body and your mind being strong is really the best offering that you can give of all. They can work with that. They can do things with that. They can accomplish great things with a body that is willing. And so, you know, if you are looking to pick up a deity and say you just don't have the money to put forth in little gifts and physical offerings like flowers, liquors, perfumes, incenses, candles, that sort, you know. If you don't have that, if you don't have the finances to give that up, then just give yourself. Sometimes that's all you need. You know, in a lot of stories of myth, legend, or even straight fantasy, the strongest people with the strongest connections to the gods are often the most humble and poor, because they don't have anything to give but themselves. But what they give of themselves, they give deeply. And so really that's the best. That's the best thing you can give. Dedicate deeds to them. If you are working with a deity, find a cause that matches up to what they do, what kind of energy they are. Say Hecate. Like she is so multifaceted. There are so many things that you could do for her, to honor her and to give to her of yourself. One of the best ways and most simple ways is be someone's guiding light. She is the torchbearer. She lit the way for God, I can't think of her name, Persephone's mother, to help find Persephone, and to help guide Persephone through Hades. You know, she's the torchbearer. She lights the way. So, like, one of the best things you could do to honor her is to light somebody's way. Simple. It's very simple, and yet it is very selfless, and not as easy for everyone to do. You know, like it seems like a simple gesture, and it really is. But to give of yourself of that much is really one of the best ways that you can honor her. Since she is the Queen of Witches, you can, light the path for other witches. Help them, guide them along their way. Sacred Nunos. Take care of his forest. Take care of his creatures. Help him. These deities, they may be ever present, and their energies may have just tentacles, just deep in all sorts of things, but that doesn't mean they don't need help. Human beings are powerful, and they recognize that, and just because they are without body does not mean they are without a desire to act. But they need those bodies. They have to work through vessels, and making sure that you're the best vessel that they can work through is really ideal. So help clean up the forest, help save wildlife, help prevent deforestation, buy up acreage and do nothing with it. Just let it be natural. help animals across the road. You know, simple things. Simple things that help get his job done. And then, you know, spread the word. Let other people know about them and that they're not gone. Be their vessel. That's the best dang offering that you can give them if you don't have anything to give but yourself. That's really the best that you can give. Just be humble, be yourself, and help them out. I really don't want to say like Catholic priests because they're in a bad position right now with all their sexual abuse scandals, and really they seem to be in a power-hungry position right now that is making them really not reflect the God that they have chosen to follow. So, kind of a bad example. But, say like the Buddhist monks, you know, they live simply, they dress simply, they give of themselves, and they study. And, those are some of the best. There's some of the best way that you can honor your gods and your goddesses. Just give of yourself. It's kind of repetitive. I keep saying it over and over, but I just want to really get the point across that that's what you can give to them best. Because if you have an altar that is filled with gifts that they cannot use, but you yourself are empty and unwilling to sacrifice and act upon the things that means the most to your deities, then what's the point? What's the point of having them in your life if you cannot honor them in that way? They aren't around to be used. You don't invite them into your workings and into your spaces and into your lives to use them for their gifts. It's a two-way street. They give, you give. And the best thing you can do is give of yourself. So, I hope that has helped you all. It just came to me this morning. I asked for some inspiration from all of my deities this morning, and that's what I received. I was told to make this video and let you all know that the best gift that you can give is of yourself. So, I hope that you all enjoyed this, and I really hope that you will subscribe to my channel and help me grow here, because I'm not just out for like monetary gain. I really want to help everyone out with as much of my own wisdom and insight that I can share. So, have a wonderful evening, y'all.